You know, I really should check my VODs one of these days and see when the stream actually goes live. If I actually have to wait until Saribot shows up, or if it is live immediately on the VOD. Because I never check. I just cut the VOD. Like, I don't really look at the beginning of the VODs. I just look at where the divisions are between games when I cut them up. Oops. I've managed to shake everything. But yeah, hi, welcome. Oops. So the first thing I wanted to talk about with this, oops, hold on, I should turn down the volume too, I forgot about that part. There we go. Okay, so first thing I wanted to talk about with this is, so for the eShop listing of this game, everything looked very clean, looked very above board, right? Also, I'm probably going to bring this up a few times during the stream as more people show up. But just for the very beginning of the stream, I want to bring up, I'm very certain that this icon is AI generated. It's got a lot of telltale signs. First of all, it's just sort of odd color choices, and like a lot, like see all these colors on the, I'm trying to point at it with the mouse, but it like messes with it. But you see all these different colors on the road, and how it turns from pink to purple to then yellow over here for some reason, and just sort of this odd, like here it's trying to become like, you know, like the edge of the road, but it just blurs into the road itself. And like these 90-degree shapes weren't super suspicious because they like the game just looks like that. It has it's all right angles like that. But then you have the outline around the car that just cuts off randomly right there instead of going around everything. And this car doesn't really have an outline at all. And also there's the way that things just kind of blend together over here, and these arrows that are pointing that way when the road is going this way. Like, just sort of like the noisiness of the colors on the road and everything as well. AI generated stuff is usually fairly noisy. It looks like, I'm not sure that it generated at this low resolution. I think they may have just crunched it down and maybe done some little touch-ups here and there. Maybe. That's a big maybe. Generally when people AI generate stuff, they just leave it as is. They don't do any touch-ups. Even though it would look a lot better and a lot less detectable if you did some touch-ups, but probably the reason that they're AI generating it in the first place is that they either don't know how to do the Photoshop stuff or they don't want to, so but yeah, so there's that. And then also I was informed one of my followers got this game as well because I mentioned picking it up, and said that the music sounds AI generated as well, so we'll see how that is once we get in there. But it's just like, just use Kevin MacLeod. Come on, like I'd rather you just use stock music than AI generating it. Like, I would much rather hear the same stock song that I've heard a million times in other projects than hear anything AI generated. So there's that. So I haven't even played this game and it's already losing points for me with this stuff. Like, just don't do the AI stuff. Just draw the icon. Just use stock music. Like, the game itself looks fine. I don't think any of this stuff was, like, none of this looked AI generated. Also, hello! I'll go with purple car. Oh, I see, it's point the direction you want to go type of controls. Oh! It might be stock music. I really hope it's stock music. Oh, the controls are not... Why is the car so damn slippery? Jesus Christ. Ouch. This is... I cannot control this car. Big tires, okay. Like, the concept of this game sounded kind of neat. But, I'm not really feeling this one, I'll be honest. I do like the jumping mechanic. You have a nitro as well. The R button. Fuck. Can I move with the D-pad? Maybe the D-pad will make it better. Not really. Fuck. Oh my god. These are funny hazards. You can kind of cheese it a little bit by just continuously jumping. Oh my god. D-pad doesn't help make it feel any better, I can confirm. Ugh. I'm glad I didn't spend more than $1 on this, I'll say that much. Oh my god. Hello, welcome to the stream. I'm busy playing some bullshit. I pressed minus and the car won't move until you press minus again. Well, I lost. No surprise. That was... What the heck? I do. My most recent video on FlutterBug Auto was about a top-down game like this that I actually liked quite a bit. It's called the Superpower Racing. It's currently in early access though, so it's got a little bit of jank, but it's also in very active development, and I've been in contact with the developer, so that's been fun. It's also like the same perspective as this game, where it's just directly down. And it's all pixel art stuff. I don't really know any other games in this exact style. If you like, if you want to play top-down racers, though, one of my favorite racing games of all time is called Mini Car Racing. Not the one on the Switch, though. The modern one on the Switch. That's a completely different game. That just happens to be called Mini Car Racing. I mean the one from 1999/2000 Mini Car Racing. That one's more of like a isometric view. And of course there's the Woden series. Super Woden. Super Woden is more like it's kind of a top-down sim racer, almost like Simcade. Not super duper realistic, but more realistic movement than not. I have videos about both of those as well. Fuck. It's really hard to tell what's, because there seems to be track that's like ice, and then there's track that's like you're floating in the sky, I guess. It's very, or maybe it's water. I guess water would make more sense. Fun. Like this is ice. Slightly lighter color. I don't think I can recommend this one. This is... I mean, maybe playing it 2-player is probably like marginally better. But I think in terms of 2-player racing games you could play, there are still much better choices, you know? Like, I can't recommend this over any other kind of racing game you could play with somebody else. You say it benefits from having analog acceleration? Yeah, because it's more of a realistic racer. And analog acceleration is very good for that sort of thing. Fucking hell. In fact, well, it's not a racing game, but I've experienced the shortcomings of not having analog acceleration by playing Cyberpunk on the Switch 2, because I was like really invested in that game. And like, you know, sort of like putting myself like in the mindset of like being in the game, like just like, you know, role-playing it. I mean, it is an RPG, but you know, like just sort of really getting in the zone, you know, the magic circle, I think is what that's referred to as. But the one thing that kind of took me out of it was that I didn't have analog acceleration, so the only thing I could do was floor it. It's like it was impossible to drive my car normally. I could just... It's just maximum acceleration only. And the only way to achieve less than that was just sort of like pump the gas pedal, which, like, you know, obviously leads to sort of jerky movement. So that was unfortunate. Oh wow, I actually caught up to the other racer. There's this bootleg Daft Punk here. Oh my god. Why does it say wrong way every time you go through there? I saw that for the CPU player too. The movement in this is just... It doesn't feel good, I'm gonna be honest. Oh, you can jump over them. I didn't even think of that. I only thought of jumping over the gaps. I don't know why your car turns into bubbles when you fall in the pit of despair. I guess it's supposed to be coming from... I guess it is supposed to be water if there's bubbles. Ooh, I caught up again. Sturdy tires, what does that do for me? Big tires. The track is so fucking long too. I didn't comment on that, but that's something I talk about a lot on my channel, is that racing games really have to balance track length with how much stuff is going on. You gotta have like a good race, like you can have long tracks if the driving is exciting. But like if there's a low amount of stuff happening moment to moment in your racing game, you're gonna want to keep the tracks shorter. So I think this one has gone too far in the other direction, and the tracks are like way too long compared to what's going on. There's no like track selection or anything, like it seems like you just play a random track. This is a very bare bones game when you get down to it. I'm glad I only spent $1 on it. That's probably about what I'd say it's worth for what's here. Very few cars. There's no... You can't like select a track. It's just random. If you don't... There's no progression. There's nothing to unlock. So if you don't have somebody else to play with, then your experience is going to be severely limited with this. There's no high scores. Well, the thing is, you know, a lot of jam games and stuff like that are also like, you know, I'd be willing to pay $1 for them, you know? Like a lot of free games could probably get away with being $1. So, like, I'm not gonna say I feel like this game is not worth $1. Not worth $5. You could get a lot better for $5. Well, that's gas ratio. I think I've already seen the entire game, essentially. And the AI generated the icon, and perhaps the music as well. I can't tell. Oh, do they have Rave Racer in here yet? Nope. It's been a few days. The only Arcade Archives 2 game in here is Munch Mobile. They don't have anything else from Arcade Archives 2. In fact, there's only 6 Arcade Archives games in the Twitch database, just total. There's Dig Dug 2, Vulcan Venture, Pro Tennis World Court, Super World Court, and Time to... Like, that's completely random. What? Okay, anyway, we'll go... Gas ratio, I had a category. yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get anything out of the other tracks that I didn't get out of the two that I played. Let's do Rave Racer.